I'm wanting to go to agricultural college.
Yeah.
To study animal and land-based.
Yeah.
For obviously agricultural animals.
So do you want to be a farmer?
That's the end goal, hopefully.
Yeah. So what do you want to do on your farm?
Well, a bit of everything really. I'd like to have sheep, purely because I feel like there's more to do with sheep, with lambing and everything.
Yeah. What is it that you like about lambing?
Just bringing life into the world.
Yeah.
There's just something like rewarding about it. I absolutely love it.
And did you say that you were doing that after Rio?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, if they start pushing.
Right, so there's some sheep ready to have some lambs.
Yeah, so they're all due from Monday, I think.
Yeah,
so,
and where do you go and do that?
Up Manor House Farm.
Oh, right, it's not too far.
No, very local.
Very, very local. How long have you done that for?
Up there, I'm on my second year, and then before that, I was at a small holding in Meltham with donkeys, goats, alpacas, and cows.
Oh, wow. How did you find working with the donkeys, goats, and alpacas?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
They just reminded me of me. Just naughty, always getting in trouble. I feel like definitely one of the massive parts of it is being in mainstream education with special needs.
Yeah.
I feel like there's many a teacher who don't understand it, and instead of trying to help and support it, just wind the job up.
So what special needs have you got?
I've been diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
And wanting to get tested for ODD.
Yeah.
So.
And what's ODD?
Oppositional defiance disorder.
Yeah.
Which to some people might sound like almost an excuse, which is why it's one of those where you bring it up to someone and they're a bit like, oh, so you're just a naughty kid.
Yeah.
When if you lived how we live and see how we see things,
yeah,
you know, it's a lot harder.
And how do you feel like it affects your education?
Massively. I feel like I spend more time out of the classroom being told off than I did actually learning.
So do you think that a teacher should be more aware of the conditions and like your personality towards?
Definitely. I feel like it's something that's almost not spoken about, and it's, you know, I don't even know how to put it, but as in, you know, some teachers think it's an excuse for bad behaviour, and there's other ones who understand it, and I feel like at the school I was previously at, a massive thing was a lack of communication between them all.
Yeah. So what sort of traits with you having ADHD and possibly ODD do you have?
Become very dysregulated very quickly.
Yeah.
Cannot sit still.
Yeah.
Very fidgety. And like saying and doing things before I think about it.
Yeah.
Very impulsive.
Yeah.
Very.
Just like get it out there.
Yeah. Very much so.
Which, you know, I think maybe teachers need to be educated a bit more on it.
Yeah, definitely.
So then obviously they can cater to your needs and differentiate between your individual needs.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe have like supporting classes.
And another thing is as well, is kind of treating everyone different. So, you know, if you was looking at a child with epilepsy having a seizure, would you tell them to get up and stop? Whereas if you look at someone with ADHD, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So it's that balance between knowing when to support and knowing when to almost correct.
Yeah.
Because
educate.
they don't. Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, rather than correct, educate.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because they don't, and it's very much, they don't see the difference between it, or they'll treat one kid different to another.
Yeah.
But just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there.
So you on any medication for your ADHD, Ruby?
I am. I'm on, I don't ask what it's called because it's a mouthful, but I am on a medication for it.
Yeah. What does that do to you, or what does it do for you, should we say?
So, because ADHD is a chemical imbalance in the brain, it highes one part and lowers the other. So it kind of it balances the chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
I've gone from the lowest dose to the highest dose, and I'm now on, I think, 54 milligram.
Right.
Which is almost in the middle, but I went the highest I could go for my age. But with the medication I'm on, you have to be very careful because too much has the adverse effect.
Right.
So it was a journey to try and get it to the right one.
Yeah.
But I absolutely hate taking it.
Why do you hate taking it?
I just feel like there's a massive thing around it of I don't want to live my life off medication.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is about it, but in my head, I'm not human if I take it. I feel like a robot.
Right, okay.
Genuinely, I feel like a robot.
So do you feel like the change in your personality?
Yeah, definitely.
Afterwards? Yeah.
And I don't want to be known as a personal medication.
Right, okay.
I feel like the things I've heard from it.
So what sort of things have you heard from it?
That it's a bad thing to take medication.
Right.
That you're weaker or you can't manage it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And as obviously a teenager growing up around that, you don't want to be that person who's, oh, you're on your crazy pills.
Right,
Literally.
is that what people say?
Yeah.
Which isn't nice, really, is it? Because at the end of the day, if you weren't on them, you'd be wild.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone complains when I'm not on them.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
that you're too wild, and then they're complaining when you're on them, so what do you want?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't win. So I'm in specialist provision.
Yeah.
Over the hill in Mosley.
Yeah.
Which is, there's now 4 students that go there, 2 teachers, and they know what they're doing. They know how to understand people like me. We're all in the same boat. There's no, oh, you're weird because you've got this. We are literally all in the same school.
Yeah. So if one calls you weird, you are weird.
Exactly.
Yeah. I prefer to be weird anyway.
I'd prefer to be weird than the same as everyone
normal,
else.
yeah.
Exactly. I love being different and going to a place like that, like I was at a different provision as well in Oldham.
Yeah.
And obviously being a country girl, going into a city with me dealer boots and my long on shearing farm stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't know where meat came from.
Yeah.
They said to me, well, the meat comes from the supermarket. I says, how does it get there? The people who sell it to the supermarket. And who are they? A factory.
Yeah. A factory?
Literally.
Like meat gets made in the factory?
Yeah.
Wow.
I says, well, what's it made out of? Meat. Well, where does the meat come from? Supermarket. And I was going back and forth and they couldn't understand that it was from an actual animal that comes from a farm.
Yeah.
I was like, even something down to chickens.